So this this is about how to write a questionnaire. It is important that you should know how to write a questionnaire, and usually these questionnaires are also available.
Hey Faisal, how are you?
Good. How are you? Um,
I'm good too.
Thank you. Thank you. So these questionnaires are available on the internet, but they not might need they might not meet your requirements. So you need to write a good questionnaires, because if you ask in the right question, you're going to get the right answer. And they always says half of uh, the answers is understanding the question. So if the other people don't understand the questions, then they might have an issue of answering, their questionnaire. So it's very important to do a very practical process for it. Now let's talk about the questionnaires and how it designing the questionnaire and what kind of a quality you should have. So basically, today we will be mostly talking about, the questionnaires and whatever the subject around the questionnaire. Um, the learning object is describe the step in questionnaire design, discuss the questionnaire development process, all these 5 processes that you saw in the video. Summarize the characteristics of a good questionnaire, what a good questionnaires will be resulting to, and understand the role of cover letter, because the cover letter is what grabs most of the attention as a startup, so people will be willing to answer your questionnaires or not, and explain the importance of the document to them and how it with the questionnaires. Usually in the value of the questionnaires in marketing research, it's formal framework consistent of set of questions and scaled design to gather primary raw data. Last week we spoke about the scale and scaling and how the scales works, and we mentioned different type of the scales and how they are working together. Where do we choose what kind of scales? And the script there is 2 surveys, 2 design. One is called a descriptive research design and uses a questionnaire to collect data that can be turned into a knowledge about a person, object, or subject. So that's, and here's where we talk about a lot about the construct. So it's basically a set of questionnaire that collect information about a person or objective or issues or a market, certain market. Then you have the predictive surveys. That's research, require the research to collect a wide range of data that can be used to predicting in attitude, behavior, and testing hypothesis. So we have a descriptive and we have a predictive. And a descriptive is basically it's something happens earlier, and you wanted to collect the information about the thing. The predictive is mostly looks at building a hypothesis and eventually a thesis about certain product in a market. So these are the 2 different of building 2 types of questionnaires. Now, the steps of designing a questionnaire, it's basically first step is as we said, you need to look at the research objective. What you are trying to do? Are you trying to do a predictive or descriptive research? That's one thing. But what's the subject that you are looking for? The objective of your research, what's all about? From there, you gonna move. Check the step two, which is um, how you gonna select, how you gonna find out about these information, whether you're gonna do a survey, whether you're gonna be watching, a certain behavior, or your survey is gonna be sent through the mail or email or person interviews. And according to that, you will be developing your questions and the scaling. And we spoke about scaling at last class. Then we need to determine and lay out the questionnaires, because there are certain questions that's supposed to be asked in the end, and there's some questions supposed to be asked in the beginning. And if you switch them, they might be confusing the person, or might be distracting the person away from the focus that you are looking to drive him to answer these questions. And definitely you need to obtain the initial client approval. And so then you do something called a pre-test. It is different than the trial. And with the pre-test, you usually do 10 people testing whether this questionnaires looks fine, is not confusing. If it's something, then you need to revise it and finalize the questionnaire. And then the last step is that you need to implement the questionnaires and start taking an actions toward the customers. Now, confirming a research subject, just want to see if there is any question. Okay. I don't see any abusive letter. Oh, I see. Please, if you're writing in another language, I have to um, ask you to leave the place, and if you don't, I have to, make you move away. Um, okay. Just give me a second.
Oh my God, the view is best, bro.
Now, I'm gonna mute all. I don't, okay. So I did put this person in the waiting room. He's still gonna do that next class. I also gonna do that again to him. Anyway, um, okay. Now, no problem. Thank you. Um, so the first step, confirming research objective, as we said, there is a steps that you need to take. The research objective, collect the data on selected demographic characteristics. Now, you know that you need to focus on a certain people who is doing certain, certain demographic, certain people that they are, involved in that. Now, so the demographic is you need to select or do the research on them. They collect data on the selected lifestyle dimension. So you look at the demographic, the certain type of people, let's say middle-aged, white, middle-income people, and then you collect the selected lifestyle dimension, whether it's buying, what kind of cars or something like that, whatever is your target is you're looking for, and then you identify the preferred. If you're doing it, for example, this is an example only, it's a banking service, but if you identify the preferred type of services, so if somebody walks in a bank, what kind of services he likes to get, whether it's a to person or an ATM or through an email, you need to find out about the attitude and feeling toward those services in general, and then identify the demographic and lifestyles of characteristic of that market segment. So for example, if you are looking at, for example, an old ladies, in the 50s who prefer to buy some lingerie, but they cannot, they feel shy to go inside the store and buy these lingerie, so they prefer to do it online. The other, if you're looking at the young people and says, why are you buying things online? He says, well, the only reason because I have a control, and when I walk in a store, I feel a little bit shy if some salesperson trying to help me in this matter and help me a lot. But online, I'm totally in control. I can really look at the things easily. So you need to know the basically identify the demographic and the life sectors in this case. Now, the second thing is you need to select appropriate data of collecting method. For example, research must determine the data required to achieve the objective. So the size of the data, the type of the data is that is you need to look to collect to in order for you to achieve the objective. Um, Types of respondents, the demographic information desired. You see that sometimes when you send a data or you're giving data, some people will nominate some other people that they're willing to do it, or they can send it to other people. But most of the time, this doesn't work that way, because they might send it to somebody who does not fit in your demographic desired information that you need to collect. So you want to make sure that when you write your surveys, it's going to the right demographic desired people. And the research should follow a general to specific order. So the general information, and then it goes drill down like a pyramid to the specific one, and in general to going down to the last thing is the personal thing. For example, male and female is pretty much a personal thing. Sexual preference, all these things, age, they are more personal. So it goes like general questions, and then in the end, these kind of personal questions should be asked. Now, the develop the questionnaire and the scaling, the question format, they could be open-ended questions. So somebody will be writing an answer, not ticking things. So that's called unstructured and questions, and it's open-end question format. So this way, these people.
Excuse me, Professor.
Yes,
I have a question.
yes.
Can I get lassi?
You get what? Let's see. Sure. How many you want? I'm gonna put you in a room, waiting room. That's not funny. Structured questions, close-end question that respond to choose from the these type of people, they can see it on the YouTube channels, all the announcement there. So they can go there and talk to the YouTube channel if they can. Structured questions is a close-end questions, yes or no, or they have to take things. So these are the other type of questions that it is need to from a predetermined set of questions. Now, the developed question and scaling is wording and scaling is avoid the ambiguous. Yes, Aman, tell me, please. Can you write to me so I can look at your questionnaire questions if you have any? Please feel free to write to me because I can read them and answer them very quickly. Thank you very much. This person, I already kicked him out. So avoid the ambiguous and difficult words. Sensitive questions should be structured carefully. And sensitive questions include income. We talked about these questions like the belief, the sexual belief, the behavior, the medical. These are very sensitive, so they come as a surveys in the end of the questionnaires. Now, furthermore, questions, there is a good questions and there is a bad questions. So this is why you do some testing and you try to see whether these questions drive the objective that you are looking for. So you test it first, and then you take a short survey to want to make sure that these testing is really part of the well, I saw you speaking. Anyway. So I'm sorry, anybody who puts himself on mute now and starts speaking, I will do that. Questions are when they are unanswered, leading to loaded and double barreled. Then we need to skip some questions. Just give me a time.